Hey, this is Chris Mitchell with CBN News, and joining Zeev Orenstein, the Director of International Affairs here at the City of David. So thanks for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. And we are at a special time and also a special place. Zeev, first of all, explain us what's today and why is this so special to the Jewish people?
So this evening is going to mark the, let's call it not the festival, but the very solemn day known as Tisha B'av, the 9th day of the month of Av on the Jewish calendar, which marks the destruction of both the first and second temples. First temple period Jerusalem, second temple period Jerusalem. First temple period Jerusalem was destroyed by the Babylonians 2,500 years ago, 586 BCE. And in the year 70 CE, the Romans destroy second temple period Jerusalem. And for the last thousands of years, the Jewish people have been marking this day as a day of sadness, of commemoration, of mourning over the destruction of Jerusalem and many other tragedies that have befallen the Jewish people throughout history. One of the reasons is many of your viewers, I'm sure, are noticing that when we've filmed before, I'm usually clean shaven. And the reason why I'm not today is there are many customs that the Jewish people have leading up to Tisha B'av, which begins this evening. And one of those is we don't shave during the period leading up to Tisha B'av is a symbol of mourning, among many other things that we'll do on Tisha B'av. It's a day of fasting. We don't eat, we don't drink, many other restrictions, all with the intention of putting us in the frame of mind to have serious introspection about why Jerusalem was destroyed all those years ago, what lessons need to be learned from that so that we can transition, as the Bible speaks of, that Tisha B'av in the future will actually be a day of celebration. But that's only going to come about when we fully internalize the lessons of why Tisha B'av has been a day of sadness and mourning and destruction for so long, and when we learn those proper lessons and when we're able to apply them to our lives individually, collectively, societally, when we could do that, then Tisha B'av will really become a day of celebration for us and hopefully for the whole world.
Yeah. And also a number of historical things. I mean, they talk about maybe the Inquisition happened around this day. And just to give us a sort of context, we were with you just a few days ago down at the Pool of Siloam. We are in, I think, probably one of the most important places in the world. This is the original City of David.
That's right.
And right now, describe where we are right now.
So the City of David, is very quickly, it is the place where Jerusalem began. When people think of the Jerusalem of this book, of the Bible, of King David, of King Solomon, the prophets, where the kings preached, where the prophets prophesied, that was in the City of David. Not the old city of Jerusalem, but the City of David is located just outside the old city, the western wall, the Temple Mount, just to the south of the old city of Jerusalem. That's where we're standing now, here in the City of David, only discovered about 150 years ago. We had lost biblical Jerusalem. Now, as we spoke about literally just a couple of days ago, while we were in the Pool of Siloam, the Pool of Siloam was discovered because of a busted sewage pipe in 2004. And when the archaeologists end up discovering, by chance, the Pool of Siloam, they said, wait a minute, if now we know where the Pool of Siloam is, the place which was the size of 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools thousands of years ago, which served as a giant mikveh, or ritual bath. The archaeologists said, well, then if that was where people were purifying before going up to the temple, those 3 times during the year, on Passover, on the Festival of Weeks, on Tabernacles, well then the question was, how did everyone get from the pool going up the half-mile to the temple on the Temple Mount? And the answer is where we are right now. This is the very beginning of the pilgrimage road. This is an active, you can go through no problem, right? So this is, as you can see, a very active excavation site over here, one of the most significant ongoing archaeological excavations anywhere in the world. And we find something very interesting over here. So you can see this is the beginning of the road. You can see these are the actual flagstones
from 2,000 years
ago. 2000.
And we're just around the corner from, literally just a few feet away from the Pool of Siloam.
That's right. Literally, and this was the very beginning of the pilgrimage journey. You would purify in the Pool of Siloam at the southern end of the City of David. Then you would begin walking up these stones. Now the road itself would be about probably 5 or 6 times wider than what you see here, right? But you would begin literally walking up these literal stones right over here. My ancestors, Chris, mine, yours, right? This is where they're walking 2,000 years ago. You could see it, you could touch it. It's real, and it's an amazing thing.
It really is.
But when the archaeologists are digging here, they find something that's strange. Now, Well, I grew up in New Jersey, the New York area, lots of potholes, right? And you know, and they're
Boston, a lot of potholes in Boston too.
So they come here and they begin digging, and they find, and you can see it very clearly over here. They see the very beginning of the pilgrimage road where we're standing, a giant crack in the pavement. So they say, all right, I guess some things never change, right? There are potholes today, potholes 2,000 years ago, right? So you have this giant crack in the pavement. But then as they keep excavating, they find every few feet, every few meters, additional cracks in the pavement, evenly spaced. And you can see along the road here, you can see the first crack over here, another crack over there, another crack further up. And it just seemed too symmetrical to be a coincidence. And so the question was, why would someone be deliberately breaking holes in the pilgrimage road? So they turn to the writings of the historian Josephus. And Josephus says in the year 70, the Romans are destroying Jerusalem. The temple atop the Temple Mount is in flames. The last Jews of Jerusalem seek refuge from the Romans. Where? In the drainage channel that's located directly beneath the pilgrimage road. Right over here you can see there's basically a sewer that is beneath the pilgrimage road. It would have had rainwater and whatever going through it 2,000 years ago. So here's the road up here. This is what we're standing on right now. And beneath us is a sewer, right? A drainage channel, which looks just like this.
So how high would this be?
Basically, you could probably stand almost fully in it. You'd have to crouch a little bit, but it's very narrow, right? And Josephus says that 2,000 Jews were hiding there in the year 70. Now what happens? The Romans, they find out about it. They had good intel, they find out about it, and they come with sledgehammers, and what do? They break open the pilgrimage road. And Josephus says they find 2,000 Jews hiding there. Now the archaeologists, what do they find? You can see they find whole cooking pots, meaning the Jews were living there for days, weeks, perhaps even for months, until the Romans find them all and kill them all. Now if you look over here, you can see remnants of whole cooking pots right over here that were found in the drainage channel. Right? These were the pots that those 2,000 Jews, this is how they were cooking their food while they were living in the sewers. And this is reminiscent, if you think back not too long ago, to the times of the Holocaust, of the Shoah, where Jews were hiding from the Nazis, hiding in the sewers and trying to survive. And the fate of the Jews hiding here in Jerusalem was not altogether different from what happened in the Holocaust. And in fact, archaeologists find a Roman sword and scabbard, presumably one that was used to kill the last Jews of Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. This is the destruction of Jerusalem. This is Tisha B'av. This is the end of Jerusalem in the year 70. Now the Romans, they were so proud of their victory over this country that after all other victories, they would mint coins to celebrate that victory. But here, when they minted the coin they minted after the victory over this country, it was the most widely minted victory coin that the Romans ever made. So here's the coin over here. And you can see, here is the Roman Emperor Vespasian. And on the coin, you have a Roman legionnaire towering above a Jewish woman on her knees crying. On the coin, Chris, could you read that? The I is like a J. Can you read what that is?
Judea.
Right, Judea capta. Judea has been captured or defeated. Now what's Judea? Judea was the name of the country. The reason why Jews are called Jews come from Judea. The capital of Judea was Jerusalem, right? The Romans were so proud of their victory over Judea, over Jerusalem, over the Jewish people, that they mint this coin, the most widely minted victory coin that the Romans ever minted. And the Romans had lots of victories. But this was the coin they minted the most to show how proud they were. If you've been to Rome, ever been to Rome, Chris?
Yeah.
So,
I've seen that arch.
Arch of Titus. Now, who was Titus? Titus will later become emperor of Rome. But before he becomes emperor of Rome, he's the commander of the 10th Roman Legion that destroys Jerusalem. On the arch, you could see the Jews being led captive into Rome, and the temple treasures, like the menorah, being led out of Jerusalem and into Rome. Again, you could see how proud the Romans were over the victory of Judea, of Jerusalem. The coins, the arches, the monuments. They say that the Colosseum in Rome, in fact, was actually built from the spoils from Jerusalem, and that the Jews who were taken captive from Jerusalem were meant to fight as gladiators, for sport in the Colosseum in Rome. Right? So all that's happening. You see how proud the Romans were. Now what's interesting is that from 66 to 70, there was a period known as the Great Revolt. The Great Jewish Revolt for Freedom against the Roman occupation. And each year of that revolt, the Jews were minting small bronze coins. But scholars have long wondered why. Why were they minting these coins? Because at that time, the coins had almost no monetary value. And if they really wanted to fight the Romans, what should they have done with the metal instead of...
Make a sword?
Right,
or,
make weapons, right? Why are you wasting it on a worthless currency? So I want to share with you an answer that I heard to this question. But before I do, I want to show you something very special that I have over here. This coin, you take that, Chris, 2,000 years old, identical to the one that you just saw in the picture. That coin dates back to the year 67, the second year of the Great Revolt. And on it, it says, in ancient Hebrew writing, for the freedom of Zion. Zion, of course, being another name for Jerusalem, right? So they're fighting for the freedom of Jerusalem. So again, the question now is, why are they minting these coins? So I want to share with you, Chris, an answer that I heard, which I find to be meaningful, which is that the Jews of Jerusalem understood that the Romans were likely going to conquer Jerusalem. But they also believed that one day in the future, their descendants would return and find these coins and know what their ancestors lived and died for a free Jerusalem, right? For a free Jerusalem, right? Now, they probably thought, like the Babylonian exile, you're talking about a few decades, maybe a century. They couldn't imagine it would be nearly 2,000 years before the Jewish people would return as sovereign to Jerusalem. But eventually, we did return, right? And I want to show you now something amazing. In 1958, Israel mints its first commemorative medallion. But there's something very strange about this medallion, because when you look closely at it, you're going to see that what has Israel minted? What does that look like?
It's the Roman coin.
Right, it's the Roman victory coin. Now, why would Israel, in 1958, why would they, for their first medallion, mint the Roman victory coin over Judea, over Jerusalem? It doesn't seem to make any sense.
Yeah. What? Sleep.
So it...
Hey.
So it doesn't seem to make any sense until you turn over the coin. And when you do, it no longer says Judea Capta. You no longer have the Roman legionnaire towering above the Jewish woman on her knees crying. It now says Israel Liberata. Israel's been liberated, right? The woman now is standing tall, proudly holding in her arms a newborn child. Beside her is a man working the land, making the desert bloom. This was Israel's response to Rome, 2,000 years in the making. And today, when you think about it, where is the great Roman Empire? And
it's gone.
It's gone. I mean, you can go to museums and history books, you can see some monuments and stuff, but Jerusalem is still here. That biblical heritage of Jerusalem is being uncovered. The Jewish people, Jerusalem is the capital of the Jewish state of Israel, right? So it's very easy to say in the short term, well, when, in the year 70, who won? Okay, well, the Romans won in the year 70. But when you have a bigger picture focus, I always say that if you give the Jewish people a few years, it probably won't work out for us. But if you give us a few thousand years, we'll come out on top. So here we are in 2020. And again, it's a challenging season for Israel and the whole world. But a time like this, it also gives us a sense of perspective of where we've come from, the challenges that we have faced, that we're still, in a certain sense, still mourning over the destruction of Jerusalem from 1950 years ago, but also the sense of the arc of history is moving in a positive direction. The Jewish people have returned to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is free today. There is a free Zion. On that coin where it says, for the freedom of Zion, that was a hope, that was a dream, that was a prayer, a wish. 1950 years later, that hope, that prayer has been answered. Right? Maybe not fully yet. Jerusalem is not fully rebuilt. There's still work to do. But we're definitely moving in the right direction. And hopefully as we continue to internalize the lessons of Tisha B'av, of the destruction that's befallen the Jewish people on this day over the centuries and millennia, hopefully we'll be able to use that as an inspiration to continue to do the work within ourselves and within Jerusalem and beyond to really bring light and redemption and hope to the world in a challenging time.
Yeah. That reminds me of two things. First of all, you've probably seen the T-shirt where you have the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Romans, and the Jews on this side. Well, the Jews are still here. All these empires have gone. And also there was a story somebody told me about Queen Victoria asked, I think, the Prime Minister of Britain about Disraeli. Give me an evidence of God. And his answer was, the Jews, Your Majesty. Right. And you survived all this, and here, this is evidence.
That's right. I'll tell you another nice story that, that your viewers might like. It's a legend, right? That Napoleon is going through France one day with his chief of staff, and they're going through one of the cities, and it's the 9th day of the month of Av, Tisha B'av, and as they pass through one of the cities, they pass by a synagogue, and inside the synagogue, Napoleon hears crying, and so he turns to his aide and he says, "What's going on? Why are they crying in there?" And the aide says, "Oh, they're mourning the destruction of their temple." And Napoleon says, "Well, I mean, I read the newspapers every day. I didn't read about any temple being destroyed. What are you talking about?" No, you don't understand, the emperor. Almost 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, the Jews had a temple. It was destroyed on this day, and they're mourning the destruction. Napoleon says, "Wait a minute. They're crying today for a temple that was destroyed almost 2,000 years ago?" "Yes, sir." He says, "Any people that can still feel the pain of the destruction of the loss from so long ago will without a doubt one day merit to see Jerusalem and their temple rebuilt." And that's how the legend goes. And I'll show you, you mentioned a T-shirt before. Let's see if you could see this. Just last week or the week before, I had someone come to the city of David, and they were wearing a very peculiar shirt. Let me see if I can get it here. Well, it looks like I don't have the internet to pull it up. But they were wearing a shirt. Let's just try one more time, see if it comes up. They were wearing a shirt of the 10th Roman Legion, right? Which is an amazing thing. I can't find it on my phone. But they're wearing a shirt of the 10th Roman Legion. It says LEGX, the 10th Legion, for tensis. And I said, "Look, you know what that shirt is?" It's like, "Yeah, whatever. I went to Rome, I bought it." And I said, "Well, I mean, we're in Jerusalem, and like they're the ones who destroyed Jerusalem." He's like, "Yeah, it's kind of funny." I said, "It's an interesting shirt to wear when you come to visit Jerusalem, but." I said, on the bright spot, I said, essentially all that's left of the great Roman Empire is this T-shirt and a couple of monuments. I said, I'm not going to find offense in it because we're here. Yeah, and they just have a T-shirt. So, it's an amazing thing that God is faithful to his promises. And he has, on the one hand, he's made it clear that throughout history, when the first temple was destroyed, the second temple was destroyed, as the prophets were saying leading up to those times, that it's going to happen because we, the Jewish people, did not do what we were supposed to be doing. And hopefully, as we're here, as many people like to call Israel, in a certain sense, the third Commonwealth, the third time that the Jewish people have established sovereignty here in the land of Israel, that hopefully we'll learn the lessons both from the first destruction and the second destruction to ensure that this third Commonwealth will endure forever.
Okay. Well, this is an amazing, it just comes to life here when you see the coin, when you see the road, you see the broken road by the Romans 2,000 years ago. It's an amazing story, especially on this day, this special day. Yeah. Now, what will you be doing later today and tomorrow, and as many Jews here in Jerusalem, Israel, and around the world? So, beginning tonight from sundown, the fast of Tisha B'av will begin. So no eating, no drinking. We're not going to, let's say, put on deodorant, brush teeth, things like that, all sorts of other restrictions. But the idea is to put us into a frame of mind of introspection where we're really internalizing the pain of the destruction. For instance, we're going to go to synagogue tonight, and we're going to read the book of Lamentations, which talks about the destruction of Jerusalem. And as we read it, we're sitting on the floor. Right before the fast begins, we eat a special meal, and the last thing we eat before the fast begins is an egg, which is a symbol of mourning for us, and it's dipped in ash, right? That we're literally eating the ashes going into the fast. Tomorrow, when we're in synagogue in the morning, we say all sorts of prayers, very sad prayers, talking about the destruction. One of the things that one of the commandments that we have on this day, that we don't have any, not even on the Day of Atonement. There's a very special restriction on Tisha B'av, which is we're not allowed to study Torah. Right? We're not allowed to learn Bible. The only parts of the Bible that we're allowed to learn are things like Lamentations, Jeremiah, things that deal with destruction. And you say, why would you have a limitation on studying Torah or Bible on this day? And the answer is that
those are things that when you open this book, it's meant to make you happy. This is God's word to the world. And there's a certain privilege and honor that you get to read the words in this book. And on Tisha B'av, it's not what it's about. It's about feeling the pain. It's about feeling the pain of the destruction, of the loss. And therefore, when you're in mourning, when you're in such pain, there are certain things of joy that you don't do. And one of those things is we have a little bit of distance from God on this day. And the idea is that, again, in the future, that we'll be able to make that transition to, as it says in the prophets, that this will become in the future a celebration, a holiday. But that will only come when we do the work.
Yeah.
You know, our tradition also says that the Messiah will be born on Tisha B'av. Now, that could literally mean that his birth certificate will say, you know, the 9th day of the month of Av. But it could also mean that the redemption will come about when we truly internalize the lessons of this day. And that will bring about the redemption. That will bring about the Messiah. That until we learn the messages that we're supposed to internalize and bring into our lives and into the whole world from this day, until that happens, the Messiah is not going to come. The redemption will not fully be actualized. And so this day is not just a day of sadness, but I think a day of opportunity for us to really think about what can we collectively as individuals be doing to really bring about the fully rebuilding of Jerusalem and the society, to go from being somewhat broken to being whole and complete and flourishing.
Yeah. Well, Zeev, thanks so much for sharing the traditions, the special day, this special place. First of all, if people want to know more about the City of David, where can they go?
So you can go our website, cityofdavid.org.il, on Facebook, City of David, Ancient Jerusalem, and you can go on Twitter, Instagram, just search City of David, and you'll find us there.
Yeah, great. So it's great to be with you here today. We're at the Pool of Siloam, and hopefully we'll be looking at more stuff here in the City of David and things come. And if you want to check out us on YouTube, CBN's YouTube, our Facebook channel, and go to cbnnews.com for more news around the world on a daily basis. Thanks for joining us. Great to be with you.
God bless. Thank you.